Sergeant Warwick Ashling Clouston is a New Zealander. He was aged 21 when he died on the 20th of June 1942. He was with 616 Squadron. He was a Spitfire pilot. He'd been on a training flight when the plane has a technical issue. He attempted a beach landing near Sheringham, but to avoid children playing, he ended up crashing the plane, and obviously he passed away. Sergeant Henry Burt Crocker, he was Australian. He was 22, and he died on the 19th of May 1942. He was with 610 Squadron. He was also a Spitfire pilot. He was involved in a mid-air collision with another Spitfire over Norfolk and ended up crashing at Catfield, which is a mile north of Ludham. And he died of his injuries in hospital the day after the accident. And the other pilot was Pilot Officer M. Rouslot. He was French. He force landed at Ludham and he was fine. Pilot Officer Robert Elmer Douglas Wright, a Canadian chap. He was 26 and he died on the 4th of May 1942. He had been posted with 137 Squadron, and he was a whirlwind pilot. He'd been doing dogfight practice. His opponent returned to RAF Matlusk with engine trouble, and Wright dived from 4,000 feet, and the G-forces caused rivet failures, and fuselage separated from the wings. There was no fire though, and he crashed in a field north of Aylsham at about 4 p.m. There was a 312-yard wreckage trail, and the pilot was pinned by the G-forces and trapped in the cockpit, and he ended up dying from his injuries. Sergeant John Logan, he was Australian. He was aged 24, and he died on the 13th of February 1942. He was posted with 279 Squadron. He was part of a Lockheed Hudson bomber crew, and I think he was the air gunner or the wireless operator. There were normally 5-man crews, but this one had 4. They left at 8:30 in the morning for a sea patrol of the East Coast, and they were due back at about 11:30, but they were never seen again. They went down in the North Sea, and Logan's body washed up at Parling in Norfolk, and the other crew members were sadly never found. They are remembered on the Runnymede Memorial, and the pilot was Sergeant George Robert Morris Garrard. The observer was Sergeant John Henry Fred Redhead, and the wireless op air gunner was Sergeant Harold Henry Scout. Flight Sergeant Royce Norval Coleman was Canadian. He was 26 and he died on the 11th of March 1942. He was with 1404 flight, and he was a Hudson pilot. They were lost in poor visibility at night, and they hit a tree and flew into the ground 2 miles east of Coltishall. The other crew are wireless operator Sergeant Victor Fellows, who's buried in Darlston in the West Midlands. Wireless operator Sergeant John Peter Town, he was buried in Castleford in West Yorkshire. And Pilot Officer William James Atkinson, he's buried in Ramsey in Huntingdonshire.